if we're talking about back then, men made sure they had enough money, provided and protected, and if their woman made noise, they would give in based on the fact that they just want to keep them quiet. Yeah? So let's just say, for example, a woman, the wife then wanted to have a business and she's flopped 5 different businesses. You know that in your mind, sense-wise, this makes no sense to give you another bit of money to invest. But guess what? To keep you sweet as a provider and to not be considered useless, what will I do? Give you the business, even when I know you're going to fail, but that keeps you sweet. Is that helping the wife then, or is that being manipulative?
Being manipulative.
When we look at today now, you don't have to wait for 5. Flop 2 businesses, and the guy's going to tell you today, how about we do things this way? Let's try this so that this can happen in order for us to now get to that place where you can do that. That's actually teaching you. Now, of course, not all men do it in a way that is sweet on the ears for women to hear. Sometimes they do it a bit abrupt, in which case you might take offense to what they're saying, but at least they're not manipulating you. Because we apply more sense and logic now as men than what we did then as men. Because all you was then was quite dumb. You provide, protect, and just give. Whereas now we're a bit like, boy, I could provide and protect and give, but like, you still probably won't respect me for it. So if I'm going to lead you, and not lead you manipulatively, but lead you genuinely, I need to teach you. And what we're finding now is that we're at the point now where teaching women is very difficult because you think you know it all. You want that old school man because you don't want to be taught. You just want to get away with it. You want to play on emotions and have me give you, let's say, money for your business, even when I know 2 businesses you flopped. Now, logic and sense in our generation now applies. Let me help you. Let's do it baby steps. You want to open a restaurant? Okay, that's fine. How about we start a kitchen from this particular place, do the cooking from there, just do Uber Eats for now, and direct orders before we go into opening a whole restaurant. Because you don't understand the food business yet. You've never done it before. Them men there, give them the restaurant. She's going to be out of my hair. So that type of man, for some women, was wonderful. The type of men we have now, also for some women is wonderful. But for other women, they'll turn around and say, you're too emotional. Why are you so understanding? You cry more than me. Men don't cry like this. Ladies, and even guys, stop listening to guys or people who bring statistics to explain what things are for women or men generally. Like, statistics is quantifiable data. It's not accurate. Which is that I could turn around and say, based on ends, yeah, for argument's sake, that 8 out of 10 guys are going to go to prison. So if you come from this area, 8 out of 10 are going to prison. But the truth behind that really is that if you do qualitative research, you might realize that 8 out of those 10 don't have parents. Therefore, who's teaching them? The statistics doesn't prove that. The statistics just says 8 out of 10 go to prison, but there's no reason why. So when you have a conversation with someone who's talking about something like, oh, well, fat girls, statistically proven, fat girls, all that wannabe Andrew Tate, wannabe Kevin Samuels stuff, remind yourself that when you bring your personal experience to an overall conversation based on statistics, you're never going to win. It makes me sick, and it made me sick when I was to watch all these women argue with Kevin Samuels, RIP to Kevin Samuels, about stuff that really and truly he was never going to win. Statistically proven, this is what it is. Don't have conversations with people that just bring statistics. Anyone that does, statistically, go and ask them where they did their research. Go and ask them how far their research expands. Quote and reference where that research come from. Let's actually see it. Most of them ain't doing none of that. You've heard someone say it, you've remixed it to come on camera and start talking like you know sense. You don't know sense. You're just chatting.
And I think when it comes to research and stuff like that, I think people don't understand it's a pool of people that volunteered.
Thank you very
So
much. It
you
doesn't
should
actually statistically prove anything because it's
yeah,
not the whole world.
yeah.
What is it?
You need to be concerned about the quality of the data as well. So,
Dumb.
yeah,
Don't argue with no one. If someone says statistically proven, switch off. It's BS.
yeah, yeah.
Going back to your point, what was your question again? Sorry.
You got me to repeat, bro.
Yeah. Sorry. You was talking about
Basically, because of how women have seen their father and mother relationship, do you think that's affected how women' ability to learn from men?
It's always going to affect how you see it, because in actual fact, what we learn from our parents is not always what they tell us. We often learn from what we observe. A large part of our learning comes from what we observe. So if you observe your mum being cared for in a certain kind of way, what you might not be clocking is that your mum emotionally might be drowning. So by the time you've met someone that's younger than you in your generation, you're going to now look at them as not doing what in actual fact your dad's doing, but what you're not realizing is that they're doing the part that your mum didn't get, which is making sure that you're emotionally okay, as well as trying to provide. Do you get what I'm saying? Because a large part of what happened with that generation is that when you was a provider and you was a protector, you couldn't talk as a woman. Who are you talking to? You had no say. Now you have more of a say, and even now you have more of a say, and the men are still trying to provide and protect for you. You're getting a good gig. So relax. I'm not saying that all men are perfect. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that when you're looking at this from how you just explained it, you need to relax. Yeah. Because what we do more now than ever is tap into emotions that really and truly are quite dangerous for men. Because we don't get trained in an emotional way. We're not designed to rely on emotions. We're designed to rely on logic and sense. So we don't operate in an emotional form. Even when we make decisions, we don't. You bring that out of us. The difference between us and, let's say, them is that when you bring that out of us, we truly care. So we might end up doing something and be like, let me look after her. When they did it, it was, let me settle her. If I do this, she's going to be okay. If I do this, I can then go to Nigeria for 4 months and go and do business. We actually seek to try and help you as we try to help ourselves. They was managing you. Now, the girls that are talking about those guys for today, they just want to be managed. I don't blame you for it. You want to have your cake and eat it. You don't want to learn. You don't want to develop. You just want to be kept. But at the same time, you want to have mouth. It's weird.